People keep saying World War III is coming, but if you listen closely, that's not actually what people are afraid of. What people are afraid of is something quieter, the feeling that the war has already started, and it started without weapons. It started in rent prices, in grocery receipts, in layoffs, in headlines that feel like countdowns, in the way every paycheck feels like sand slipping through your hands. This isn't about Israel and Iran. It's not about Russia and Ukraine. It's not about NATO, the EU. It's not even about who's right or wrong. This is about the pressure of being a civilian on a planet that's louder than your future. No one needed to announce it. People can feel it. There's tension in the air, like static before a storm. You have Israel, Palestine, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, NATO, Venezuela, Trump, Nigeria, oil prices, shipping lanes, supply chains, and meanwhile, rent is up, inflation is up, debt is up, wages are still where they were 3 presidents ago, employment is spiking in silence because no one wants to talk about it. What used to be personal problems now feel like geopolitical side effects. A landlord raises rent and it feels like foreign policy. A job disappears and it feels like sanctions. A grocery bill feels like a front line. It's like adulthood has turned into some kind of battlefield where no one remembers when the war started, only that you woke up one day and realized you were drafted. Let me break this down. I'm going to break this down into multiple groups. Group A are people who think it's all media fear, nothing will actually happen. They think these narratives are just psychological weapons, that fear is the product being sold, that anxiety is profitable. They say turn off the TV and the world goes back to normal. For them, the problem is perception. For Group B, it's inevitable. History repeats. This is collapse. They're waiting for the spark. They believe there's no way to stop what's already in motion. They're not preparing for war. They're preparing for the world after it. For them, the problem is destiny. And then you have Group C. These are the people that say, I'll just leave, I'll go abroad, I'll outrun the blast radius. They're pricing apartments in Mexico, they're looking at Dominican Republic, they're looking at visas in Portugal. They think distance equals insulation. Maybe a different country means a different fate. For them, the problem is location. And people cycle between these three frames like channels: perception, destiny, and location, as if those are the only three doors left in the hallway. But the question is, what if none of those are the real problem? What if the real pressure isn't the threat of a war, but the realization that most people no longer control their own lives? What if the war already happened? Not between nations, but between ordinary people and the systems that govern them, between income and inflation, between passports and borders, between citizenship and usefulness, between cost and cost of existing. What if the battlefield isn't overseas, but inside the gap between what you earn and what the world demands from you? People aren't scared of bombs, they're scared of paperwork, they're scared of visas, they're scared of algorithms, they're scared of being left behind by systems they can't even see. It's not the potential war that scares people, it's the guaranteed fragility. So that was the point of breaking this down into different groups to make this more understandable. Because if you stay in the US, you feel it. If you leave, you feel it. If you ignore it, it waits. If you face it, it grows. Pressure is borderless because the instability isn't coming from geography, it's coming from architecture, the architecture of modern life, the invisible scaffolding that adulthood is built on, jobs that are tied to global supply chains, rent tied to hedge funds, groceries tied to sanctions, safety tied to elections, the future tied to headlines. Everyone is living inside something that can change without consent, without announcement, without negotiation. And that's the pressure. The world isn't collapsing. The illusion of stability is what's collapsing. So the question isn't, will there be a war? The question is, why does it already feel like we're living in the prelude? Why do people wake up tired before anything has even happened? Why does the future feel delayed, like shipping? Why does adulthood feel like an evacuation route? Why does moving abroad feel like hiding in the margins of the map? This isn't about choosing a country. This is about choosing a lens. And the pressure isn't telling you what to think. It's showing you that the way you currently think was built for a world that no longer exists. There are no instructions here, no predictions, no solutions, no move here or don't move there. Only this: if the world feels like it's leading somewhere, maybe the real question isn't where it's going, but what kind of person the pressure is turning you into on the way there. The war people fear might never come, but the pressure that created the fear is already here.